Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Happy Friday, Cleveland sports fans, and welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, WKYC style. I'm Jay Crawford. In the next 30 minutes, in fact, first up in today's show, we're going to talk about who is the most important Cleveland Guardian. I guarantee you my answer will surprise you. Earl.
I'm Earl LaPro. I'm going to tell you today why I'm rooting for Bronny James and not against him.
G. Bush? Me?
That's
yes.
you.
Leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia. I was supposed to get teed up, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you why the video of Nick Chubb jumping over those cones means absolutely nothing. McNuggets.
McNuggets, and a Cleveland kid did something really special last night that just a couple years ago, nobody would have saw coming.
Oh, now you've got my curiosity piqued.
Okay.
I'm surprised to hear you say that video of Nick Chubb means absolutely nothing. That's going to be a fun debate. I kind of got excited when I saw that video.
I thought I was the Cleveland
You was
kid he was
pumped?
talking about.
I was I was pumped. All right, here's where we're going to start today. The Cleveland Guardians, tough loss last night. That makes it 2 in a row. They lost the last game in Baltimore, and they lost the opener of what is a big weekend series with the Kansas City Royals. No harm, no foul, though. They bounced back tonight, no problem. My question to start this debate, and I know you guys probably going to think I'm nuts, is Austin Hedges and his, 200 batting average, the most important Cleveland Guardian on this roster?
I can't believe this, JG,
This is...
Anthony.
You can't believe I'm asking it, can you?
But I actually agree with you.
You do?
It's so funny because when we signed Austin Hedges in the offseason, and Anthony said, this was a pivotal signing for this team. It was important that we get him back here. This is a dude who is clearly beloved in the locker room, a guy that can spell Bo Naylor and David Fry at catcher, a defensive savant, and for whatever reason, he looks better at the plate this year, even if the numbers don't show it, than it did last year.
And they don't show it.
It's something about Austin Hedges and his energy that just galvanizes everybody around him.
I agree.
Unacceptable. Austin Hedges, my man. I love his beard. His facial hair is cool. He's a really good guy, and he throws people out at second base. But besides that, there's pretty much nothing there. So I'm going to say he's a great clubhouse guy. He's a coach, but he is not the most important player. I'll give it to you like this. If today we came to the show and they said Jose Ramirez has some undisclosed injury and he will not be there for the rest of the year, we'd break down, oh my gosh, take me, why, don't take me. Look, no, Hedges, no, I'm sorry, no, stop.
All right, I'll tell you real quickly here why you're wrong, okay?
Tell him.
What he brings to this club, every championship club must have. He's really the only guy that possesses that tool. There are guys that can hit for power. We've got 2 of them. There are guys that hit for average. We've got 1 of them that really hits elite average. There are guys that knock in runs. There are guys that play great defense. But every great team, trust me, I've been around this sport my entire life. Every great team needs what he brings. Chemistry, clubhouse, camaraderie, team building. You look at the graphic, and when we showed the graphic, McNuggets he got my ear, and he had something very funny to say. He goes, "This is the most hilarious graphic of all time." We're asking if this guy is the most important player on the team. Sounds absurd. You might think I'm absurd for making that argument. I didn't say most valuable.
Right.
I didn't say the best. I didn't say best defensive. I didn't say best base stealer. I didn't say any of that. I strategically used the words most important. Here's the proof in the pudding. 2022, Austin Hedges is with the Cleveland Guardians. They make a nice little playoff run. Really nice playoff run. And it looked like all things were pointed in the right direction for 2023. He didn't come back. The Guardians, the bottom fell out. It was the worst season that Terry Francona had in his time as a Cleveland Guardians manager.
Because of Austin Hedges?
Now, hold on. That's half of it. Austin Hedges goes to Pittsburgh, then signs with the Texas Rangers. Okay, the Texas Rangers. Nice roster.
No
spend
biggie.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Nobody had them winning the World Series. When I watched the Texas Rangers play every single playoff game, you know what I saw? A team that was loose, a team that was having fun, a team that couldn't wait to get to the ballpark the next day, a team that loved each other, played for one another, camaraderie, chemistry, laughs in the dugout, win the World Series. Didn't lose a road game. Austin Hedges comes back to Cleveland. Cleveland's now sitting with the best record in baseball, and the Texas Rangers are 5-6 games below 500, the defending World Series champs. There are other players that came and went, but that guy is the glue. He is the common denominator.
He's the new slider.
I was just about to say.
He is the. I've dubbed a new position for him: chemistry mascot.
Yeah. He's definitely.
And he's in no jeopardy of getting waived or released. He will be on this team all year because the Guardians said after the offseason, we knew this was the most important move we could make.
And you know what's funny? At the
Chemistry
time,
mascot.
At the time, we kind of laughed at it like, dang, Austin Hedges is priority number one, but it definitely makes sense.
I did laugh at it. And then I came back from
definitely
spring
makes sense.
training and I told all you guys, it's different out there this year, and it's because of Austin Hedges.
Y'all crazy. Go ahead.
Wait till they wave that World Championship banner. All right, let's talk trades. The Guardians picked up a pitcher. It's not a huge move. But Jeff Passan, who knows these kind of things, is now saying that Erick Fredde is the Guards' number one most logical trade target. I think this makes perfect sense. It's not going to be their only move, but would you guys like this move? And if so, tell us why.
Of course. What do you mean? Why would I not like this move? Like, we talked about the little Minimowski move that they got before that, right? We talked about the teaser. We got what's the kid's name that they got off?
An innings eater,
Innings
is
eater.
really what they picked up.
Now listen, when you talk about this guy, his whip 1.14, listen, I'm gonna tell you what. This guy right here can now put you in a position where now I don't know if he's your top one or two pitchers, but he's in the top three. Guaranteed if you get this guy, put him on the roster. I think it's a good move. I think when you look at the Guardians, I don't know what they have to give up for him. Every time we talk about these trades, I say, okay, well, who we giving up to get something? Is it Manzardo? Is it, are we giving up some of the young guys? But listen, Earl, I'm all on board for it.
Yeah, I'm all on board for it too. Like, he's definitely the best pitcher in Chicago. We all know Chicago is a dumpster fire. And right now they're having
pitched a great game against the Guardians back in May.
Exactly. And right now they're having a fire sale. I think he steps in, immediately becomes your number two in the rotation behind Bobby. I think so. And I think that this is the first of 2 or 3 moves that the Guardians will make to solidify themselves as legit World Series contenders and make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with both of you guys. It's a starting point, and I want to be clear on that. It would be a very nice addition to a staff that needs an arm. The move for Matthew Boyd was they need an innings eater. They need a safety net. If Cookie suddenly implodes or if we have an elbow injury to Tristan and he misses time, that was a nice move to address that. But this is a front of the rotation guy that the Guardians can count on. There's really, I think this is a tale of 2 careers, to be perfectly honest. Fredde went to South Korea a couple of years ago. His major league career kind of fizzled. And if I'm not mistaken, he was the South Koreans' MVP.
That is correct.
Okay, so this is a guy that figured something out. It happens. You might be 25, you might be 28. Sometimes a light goes off and you figure something out. He figured it out, and he's brought it back to the major leagues with him, and he's had success. I can't remember when it was. I believe it was early May. I think he threw either 6 or 7 scoreless innings against us.
He did.
And,
also correct.
And I remember thinking at the time, this is a guy that they might want to target later in the year because at the time, Chicago was already out of it. Yeah. We were a month into the season, and they were a dumpster fire already. Man. And I had said at the time, he'd look good in the Guardians uniform. I hope they get him, but to your points, it can't be all they do. Yeah. They need bats. They need a couple of hitters that can boost this offense just a little bit more.
Jay, on May 9th, you mentioned that game against Cleveland.
Was that when it was?
6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 88 pitches. He got 11 ground balls and 9 pop outs.
He was great.
And he was 3-0 at that point in the season with a 3-flat ERA.
He was great. All right, now, speaking of pitching help, is Gavin Williams ready for the major leagues? He just had his, what I think is going to be his final minor league rehab. I don't think the Guardians have come out and said that yet, but if you just follow the popcorn here, it looks like the next stop is the major leagues. What'd you guys think of his final rehab start? I'll give you a quick couple of numbers here. 82 pitches, 4 innings. I didn't like that. He was not efficient with his pitches. He struck out 6, walked 2, allowed 1 earned run in 4 innings, and topped out at in the high 90s. I think he was 98.7.
So to me, in every rehab start I've seen from him this year, I think he's progressively gotten better each start. I know his first start, he kind of got hit hard. Second start, he got hit even harder. This is 82 pitches. Even though he wasn't efficient, I like to see the 82 pitches.
Sure.
It lets me know that, okay, you're durable. You know, you're not efficient, but you're durable. And I think that the sooner we get him back to the major league level and get him into this rotation, I think it does him and us a huge favor. Jay, you notice you are a pitcher. You just need to get to where you need to be and get your reps in, get comfortable, get in the groove of things, and everything will be okay.
You know, listen, the 98 is what I'm looking at.
I was too.
That velocity is there. Now, if he would have thrown it in the low 90s, I would have been a little alarmed, but the velocity is there. The 82 pitches in 4 innings, that shows your command is off a little bit. But, you know, that's something that you have to work your way back into. You know, for him, this is spring training? I mean, he hasn't really pitched consistently. I think that part will come. But the velocity is there. I think when you get him back up here, we just need them innings. My thing for him, Jay, is let's get warmed up, and I want to see you hit your stride towards the end of the year. First part of the year, let's work through some stuff. I just want him to see no elbow discomfort throughout, and then ramp him up when it comes to time for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's well said. I don't want to jinx this, but the Guardians can basically play 500 baseball the rest of the way, and they're currently 25 games over 500 through 78 games or whatever it is. It's nuts. All we're asking for is just play 500 from here on out, and you're winning the division. You're going to the playoffs. Now, all that being said, you don't want to take your foot off the gas, but there's no pressing need to get him up right now, especially with Cookie looking as good as he has in his last 2 starts. They might leave him down there for one more start, and I would tell him I would want to work on your pitch count efficiency. 82 pitches over 4 innings, that's not going to do it. We need guys that can go 5 and 6 innings. Maybe you want to stretch him out to 90 or 95 pitches before you bring him up. The most important thing about his start, we don't know. How's he feel today?
Right.
That's the most important thing, because they've started and stopped him 3 different times. Make sure he's ready before you bring him up, because you just can't afford to bring him up and then put him back on the IL.
That's how big of a season it is for the Cleveland Guardians and everything else.
Yes, absolutely. We're taking a break. When we come back, Bronny to the Lakers. We expected it, but it was kind of weird how it played out. Also, the Cleveland kid with a terrific story. That's next when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show comes right back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We've seen it in baseball. Father and son on the same roster. Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. did it. It made for great viewing. It looks like we're about to see that in the NBA with LeBron James and now his son Bronny playing in Los Angeles. The Lakers took Bronny with the 55th overall pick after Bronny's agent and LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, called the other NBA teams that were going to draft before the Lakers at 55 and basically said, don't take our boy. If you do, he's going to Australia. We got to weigh in on that, because that was absurd and bizarre on its own. But the hate that Bronny was getting online was a little disturbing to me.
Yeah, it was.
Are you rooting for him or against him?
It was big time disturbing. I am definitely 1,000% rooting for Bronny James. Listen, Bronny didn't ask for LeBron James to be his father. He didn't ask for his father to be some megastar NBA athlete. He didn't ask for any of that. This man just want to hoop, G. He just want to hoop. He just want to ball. And shout out to you, Bronny, for how you've handled yourself throughout this entire process. Like blocking out the noise, not allowing none of the stuff that's being said or written about you to really impact you. I don't think he gets enough grace or mercy. right? This is a dude who was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, a guy that suffered cardiac arrest, and less than a year later, he's now in the NBA. And people don't understand the mental and physical toll that takes on you. Not only that, you're trying to get yourself back to playing a high level of competitive basketball. And he did that. Does he need work on this game? Absolutely. But we talked about this in the YouTube part of the show. There is not a rookie that's coming out of this class or in the class before that doesn't have any holes in his game or doesn't have any or doesn't need any work. And for everybody that's screaming nepotism is a real thing throughout this country, throughout every profession. Stop acting like Bronny is the first one to be favored because of some nepotism. They just need to quit it altogether.
Hey, man, when you grow up, man, how many people have, family businesses have been passed down to generation to generation to generation? How many times do, hey, listen, you got a wealthy grandmother, they pass away, you get that money. No one jumps up and down about that. LeBron James did what LeBron was supposed to do. He gave his son the opportunity. Now, what Bronny does with that opportunity, moving forward, what type of player he's going to be, it depends on his skill set and how hard he works in the right situation. For me, listen, I don't root for any teams but my teams. I always say that. It's a good story, though. Like, now he gets an opportunity to see what he can do. It's a unique story. You see a father and son play. It'll be a very interesting thing to watch. But the hate is crazy because, like, listen, Austin Rivers and Doc Rivers, we can say it over and over again. We've seen it before where people in business or whatever the case may be, they're going to vouch for their kids. How many times we go and look, there's CEOs everywhere. I guarantee if you're a CEO of a big corporation, their kids work somewhere within that organization.
Sure.
So it is what it is.
Sports is the ultimate meritocracy. There are no gifts. There are no handouts. If there are, you can't hide.
Right.
One thing will determine whether or not he's NBA worthy.
His
game. To this point, has his game been NBA worthy? No. Do I have a problem with the Lakers drafting him at 55? I do not. I do have a problem with the reports that Rich Paul was strong-arming other teams not to draft him.
Bogart.
Let's put that into perspective.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
The agent of the father and the son is calling other teams, telling them, don't draft my son at 50. Don't draft my son at 48. I thought the idea of this was to be drafted as highly as you could.
Right.
He's saying, no, that's selfish. That is coming from LeBron. Bronny has never said, it's my goal to play with dad. Bronny came out a couple weeks ago and said, it's more important to Pops than me. I want to be drafted. I want to play in the NBA. That's the right answer. Hate is a wasted emotion. It affects the hater more than the hatee. Mm-hmm. Hate all you want. Mm-hmm. It corrodes the vessel that carries it. It's a wasted emotion. I'm not rooting against this kid. I don't root against anybody. That's a waste of time. I am absolutely rooting for this kid to make it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you read the scouting report and the name at the top of it was Bronny Phillips, he's not drafted.
Right.
He's just not drafted. But it's not. It's Bronny James. And there are circumstances that come into play here. And I'm rooting for him like hell. And I hope, if nothing else, he makes the roster. And at some point, we get to see father and son on the court in an NBA game at the same time.
I would have called Rich Paul's bluff. If I was a team between 48
and you wanted
and 54,
you would have taken him?
I wanted
because that boy is not going to Australia.
And I wanted Bronny James, I would have called your bluff. You're not going to Australia.
He's not going to Australia.
Basketball.
No.
Your father wouldn't allow that.
And I think it gives a little bit of negative energy and negative karma to Bronny that he's kind of guilt by association.
Right.
It reminds me of the Manning move when Eli wanted to go anywhere but San Diego. We're taking a break. When we come back.
No, we are not, Jay.
Oh, we're not. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Special shout out to our Cleveland kid. How about Enrique Freeman, guys, by the way? His story is incredible. A Cleveland kid who is now an Indiana Pacer. If you don't know his story, he started his career as a walk-on at Akron, playing rec basketball with all the regular students. He turns into a 3-time All-MAC player, the 2024 MAC Player of the Year. He made the All-Defensive team 4 different times throughout his career. And this Cleveland kid who was mocked to go in the second round lands with the Indiana Pacers, and we are thrilled to see a kid from this city achieve his dreams in ways that nobody saw coming a few years ago. And he's a monster, too. A great rebounder. Led the country in rebounds this year.
A walk-on.
A walk-on to an NBA player is a pretty incredible story.
What's crazy is he's a kid from Cleveland who played in Akron, and LeBron was a kid from Akron who played in Cleveland. I love this story. I'm rooting very, very hard for this young man. It was funny, I was talking about it before the show. I saw 2 different mock drafts that had him going to Indiana with the 50th pick. That almost never happens, that deep in the draft. That he was the guy they wanted, and they got him, and I'm rooting for him hard.
Hey, man, it just goes to show you, man. Look, hey, it don't matter where you start, is where you finish at. And when you take a look at his game, me being a guy that went to OU and watches a lot of basketball and football, he was a monster. He was a load. They couldn't do nothing with him. Every time he touched the ball, he had impact. He was, and by the way, when you hear him talk, he's a real solid kid. Gives a lot of props to his high school coach and his high school team. Really humble dude. So I'm shout out to him, and I'm rooting for him. Only except when we play the Cavs.
Yeah, he went to St. Martin de Porres too, which is right up St. Clair, right up 55th. I mean, as a Clevelander myself, man, shout out to you. Like that's Clevelanders for you. That's people from Northeast Ohio for you. Grit, grind, work hard, determined. Can't tell us no. Can't stop us from our goals. Can't stop us from achieving our dreams and all of that good stuff. We bring the lunch pail, the hard hat, and every single thing that we do. And me, I have a bias for Clevelanders and for people from Northeast Ohio. Anytime you're from the city, I'm rooting for you.
I agree. Humility is at the top of his menu, too, and I love that. Taking a break, we're showing you Nick Chubb video. Does this have you more excited about his potential return in Week 1 or concerned? That's next. All right, we start this segment with probably the most important clip of video I've seen in the last 3 months. That's no gas. Let's roll it. And this is Nick Chubb, who is, of course, rehabbing from his ACL tear from early last season. Now, this is a lateral drill that gets upper body weight outside of the ACL, which is really one of the last tests. I've gone through 3 ACL rehabs, and I know how they bring you along. One of the last and biggest tests is this one. And yeah, he looks a little shaky there and puts his other foot on the ground. But in general, does this video have you excited or concerned that he'll be there in Week 1?
Me too. I've gone through 2 ACL surgeries. I tore my PCL 2 and MCL. This is a nice sign. But does this get me happy and excited about Week 1? No. The reason why I'm not too excited about it, and it's not like that's a good sign. He's jumping and doing that. I need to see the full cut ability, right? That's just a hop right there. They put it on you, but I need to see that your weight when you accelerate and you putting over 1,000 pounds of pressure on your knee outside the framework of your body, making a cut and thinking about it without moving or thinking about your knee. That's what I want to see. I still don't think Nick Chubb is going to play Week 1. I wouldn't even try to make him play Week 1. For me, I'm thinking like, all right, if you can get anywhere past Week 4, I'll take it.
I'm telling you, I cannot wait to see 24 run out that tunnel on Sunday versus the Dallas Cowboys. To me, that video is a sign that we're headed in the right direction. I've told you all before.
I agree.
In 2024, the way science, technology, and medicine is, and you never know the human's body, every human body is different. If there's anybody that can overcome all that adversity and make himself available for Week 1 of the season, it's Nick Chubb. We've heard time in and time out about how far ahead of rehab he was. I'm excited. I think this is a good sign, pointing in all directions.
Modern day Adrian Peterson.
Yep.
I of course, had my elbow surgery after last season, and I immediately started thinking, okay, so what's my target? And I looked at the schedule. What's Week 1? I don't want to be partial player. I want to be ready at Week 1. I want to be whole and full. I did everything I could to make sure that I was on the field for Week 1. He is doing everything he can. He doesn't want to be here Week 2, Week 3, Week 4. In his mind, he's got a date with the Dallas Cowboys. That's his date. And if he doesn't make it, he's late. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be there. But after looking at that video and how well he was able to jump laterally like that and still maintain, for the most part, his balance, I remain confident that we'll see him Week 1 of the NFL season. At least I hope that's the case. That's going to do it. We're out of time. Thanks for watching the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Have a great weekend. We will see you next Monday on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube style.
Peace.